Hello, everyone. I am Nabu Zaman Nahim, and I will be presenting our research paper, A Survey of Flow Matching in Reinforcement Learning, with my co-author, Fairoz Nawar Khan, and our PhD advisor is Dr. Peijong Ju, and we are all from the University of Kentucky. So, first of all, the main motivation for our survey is that flow matching methods in reinforcement learning are growing very rapidly. So, a unified taxonomy connecting these different approaches would be helpful for researchers interested in this area. So, our purpose is to provide a clear roadmap for understanding how flow matching is being used in RL, how the different methods work, how they differ with each other, and where the field is currently heading. So let's start with why flow matching is so prominent in reinforcement learning. So in simple words, it bridges a critical gap between classical policies and generative policies as we show here. So traditional Gaussian policies are convenient computationally, making them simple and fast because they only need a single forward pass. But since they are inherently unimodal, they struggle with multimodal action choices, like they may average distinct valid actions, causing incorrect or catastrophic results. To fix this, people started using diffusion policies, which improve expressivity and can handle complex multimodal action distributions. But their flaw is in real-time control, where latency is a factor, like they are slower as they need long and iterative action sampling chains with many denoising steps. Uh, so flow matching gives us a useful middle ground in this area in the sense that it is expressive as it is a generative model, but it is also faster as it uses deterministic ODE-based sampling over straight paths. So it requires very few inference steps, reducing sampling latency, while also simplifying the integration with RL through learned velocity fields. Now, let us briefly talk about how flow matching operates mathematically in two core phases. As we can see at the top, the foundational geometric concept here is to build a straight probability transport that maps simple base noise directly to our target data distribution. So in the first phase, which is phase one, this is the training phase. The biggest computational advantage here is that the framework is entirely simulation free. So instead of costly forward simulations, we sample an intermediate time t and linearly interpolate between our noise and data to get xt. So because the path is a straight line, the target velocity ut is a constant vector field xt minus x1 minus x0. Training is then simple. So it is a supervised regression objective that forces our neural network v theta to match the constant target velocity. So after training, we move to phase two, which is sampling and inference. Here we generate new action samples quickly. This is also simple. We integrate the learned deterministic ODE from time t equals to 0 to t equals to 1. So because the training phase already enforced the straight transport paths, in this inference phase, numerical ODE solvers can achieve high accuracy in just a few steps. So inference latency is low, and this makes actually sampling faster. So now that we understand the deterministic nature of flow matching, the central question then becomes, where does the reinforcement learning signal enter the flow matching generative model? So as we show in this figure, the literature is separated into two pathways. So on the left, in offline RL, the reward signal enters at training time. So we don't differentiate through the sampler. Instead, we use a critic to selectively outweight high-value trajectories in a fixed data set. And on the right-hand side, as you can see, in online RL, the signal enters at sampling time. So because flow matching uses deterministic ODE, we can actively interact with the environment and pass policy gradients directly back through the trajectory or optimize via group relative rewards like in GRPO. So despite these algorithmic differences, both branches share the same structural stabilizers like Wasserstein constraints to keep the generation safe. Next, in our taxonomy, we organize the literature into three broad families: offline policy learning, online policy optimization, and users beyond action policies such as critics, dynamics, and alignment. We discuss each of these in detail in our survey. So we analyze the representative methods within each area. We clarify how these methods are connected, what are the differences between these methods, and what are the open gaps that remain.
In this survey, we have introduced a simplified cross taxonomy to clearly show the gaps in the literature. The rows ask what object the flow model represents: actions, critics, dynamics, or preference. And the columns ask how the reinforcement learning signal enters the flow through weighted regression, pathwise gradients, GRPO style updates, or other mechanisms. This makes the research landscape easier to compare and also reveals gaps. Most current work uses flow matching for modeling actions or policies, and directions that are less explored include flow based critics, dynamics models, and GRPO style optimization beyond policies. The yellow cells here highlight these potential research directions. Now, to conclude, we summarize the key takeaways of our survey paper here. Besides organizing the methods and discussing open challenges, the survey also covers application domains, benchmark choices, evaluation protocols, and comparisons with Gaussian and diffusion policy baselines, providing a practical roadmap for interested researchers. We hope this survey helps make the rapidly growing area of flow matching in RL easier to understand and build upon. Thank you so much.